you have been watching everyone around you start up habits that you've been dreaming about for years, follow through with them, and effortlessly incorporate them into their own lives. So why does it never work when you try to do it? Are you just not as good as other people? Do you not have some sort of special skill that they can do? Are you not disciplined enough? Are you not motivated enough? Do you not want it enough? The good news is it's none of these things. And I finally cracked the code. For the first time in my life, I actually was able to start a habit and then commit to it. And it completely changed my life. And there were so many things that I was so wrong about that I never realized other people were thinking while they were doing their habits, and this is why they were able to stick with them and I never was. So I took all that information, I compiled it for you, and I'm gonna tell you step by step exactly how you are finally going to stick to your habits, because this is what you've been missing. Hi guys, I'm Daria, welcome to my channel, and I am documenting all the things that I've learned and all the lessons that I'm learning in my journey to becoming the person I was always meant to be and living the life that I always was meant to live. Let's get into it. There is a secret ingredient you have been missing, and it's not difficult to do at all. It's actually so simple, you just don't realize it. In order to understand what it is, first, we need to talk about the catalyst. What does it actually look like when you decide to start a habit? So for most people, they decide to finally put their foot down and adopt a habit because they're in such a rut. They're in a low period of their lives, and they feel so uncomfortable that they think, I need to make a change right away. I need to start tomorrow. I need to make my life better. This can't go anymore. Why do you decide to start a habit to change your life? The reason that you chase after a habit is because habits are inherently automatic. They're easy on your brain. The whole point of a habit is to get your body and your mind used to doing something so you don't have to put in the mental effort every single time. It takes the strain off and it makes it automatic for you. Comfortable. This is the point where it starts to go wrong. On one hand, you want to change as soon as you possibly can, starting tomorrow if you can. On the other hand, you want to be comfortable. You want a habit. So you give yourself the goal. I'm going to use the example of walking 10K steps every day. So when you have these two things, wanting to change soon and wanting comfort, your brain combines to give yourself a very high goal, which is something like, starting tomorrow, I'm going to walk 10K steps every single day. This is a perfectly achievable plan. It's very reasonable for someone to be able to walk 10K steps every single day and have an automatic habit of doing it. You tell yourself it might be physically difficult to walk the 10K steps, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna do it every single day. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna do it even if it's hard. This is the step that you're missing. You want to immediately jump into the habit of doing 10K steps every single day. You're focused on the action of walking 10K steps every day, but you're not focused on building an actual habit. You are jumping right into the habit of wanting to walk 10K steps every single day, the action of walking 10K steps, when you haven't even practiced the art of forming an actual habit. You're more concerned, and your focus and your goal is on the walking the 10K steps and not, let me try to practice what it's like to build a habit. Do I know the skills to learn how to keep a consistent habit? Have I exercised that part of my brain before? Because if you have never been consistent with a habit, you need to understand that your brain is in a different position than people that already have habits. And that's why it seems so effortless for other people to start habits, because they have information, they have training, they've done work that you haven't. So what you need to do before you start thinking about being in a consistent habit is something that I like to call a pre-habit. This is like a trial, practicing, and experimentation phase. It's like you're saying, I want to be more active, so I'm going to join a soccer team and I'm gonna go to every single practice when you don't even know how to play soccer. You're too focused on what's the outcome. I'm gonna show up every single day no matter what, but you're not thinking, do I even have the skills? Do I even have the capacity to do this? Or is there some other work that I need to do first that won't take that long and is going to make it a lot easier for me to actually do the things that I need to do? In fact, it's gonna be impossible if I don't put in this prep work. So what is the difference between a pre-habit and your actual habit? It's about how you talk to your subconscious mind and the information that you decide to give it. You have to be very specific with how you go about this, especially if you have had a hard time keeping your promises in the past, because you are starting from a place that other people aren't. You are already distrusting yourself because you've started a lot of habits and you haven't finished them or you haven't followed through on them. So your brain is very, very delicate and you can't beat it down more. You just need to know how to talk to it correctly. This way, it's going to be able to help you instead of working against you, which is what it's been doing this entire time. It's not your fault. It's so hard. Your brain has actively been fighting against you, trying to do this thing that you know is good for yourself. So this is the difference between the last time you tried to start a habit and this time. Last time, your goal was, starting tomorrow, I'm going to walk 10K steps every single day for a month. Your goal this time is, starting tomorrow, I am going to try to walk 10K steps as many days as I possibly can in this month. Why is the difference so important for you? Your brain's job is to collect data from past experiences, put it together, and synthesize the next move that will bring you the most comfort, that will make you the most comfortable. That's always what your brain wants to do. It's very, very good at this, and you need to look at it as an asset. You can't be fighting against your mind all the time. When you have a goal like this that's very strict, you give yourself the opportunity to fail on day one. If you wake up on day one, if you wake up tomorrow and you don't make it to 10K steps, even if you made it to 9K steps, you automatically cannot have walked 10K steps every single day for an entire month. It just mathematically doesn't make sense. Your brain is super, super logical. It knows this. You've given it the input, goal, walk 10K steps every single day for the month. You've given it 1 day of data. I walked 9K steps today. The outcome it gives, I failed at my goal of walking 10K steps every single day for the month. Now, we know logically that this doesn't really make sense. You might think, my brain doesn't do that. I know it's fine. I'm fine with failure. I can just wake up the next morning and try my best. Here's the problem. Whether you like it or not, your brain has already done that calculation and stored it away in the back of your mind. So you might tell yourself, I know I didn't fail. I don't feel bad about it. I still did a really good job. I tried my hardest. But your subconscious mind already has that result of I failed. It's stuck in there. So now what happens is you have this seed of doubt in your mind, and now you're using willpower to compensate for that. And we all know that willpower is not a sustainable solution. Using willpower to fight against the part of your brain that's saying, I already failed at this, so what's the point of trying again, is really, really tiring. If you've ever tried to do something while someone is actively putting you down, it takes mental energy that you could use to be doing something else. It's not fun and it takes a big toll on you. So now the next time you go to attempt your habit, you're using even more energy than you were in the first place. It's even more difficult the second day. Another thing about our brain, it expects that you might not do great on the first day, but it never, ever, ever expects to go down and then go back up. If you start something, you do good, you expect to do better. If you start going down, your brain's like, nope, I guess I failed. It's the trend, you know? Now you have 2 plot points, you're going down. You are able to write off the first failure because you think, well, it was the first try, obviously I wasn't gonna be that good. But your brain is not prepared for a second failure that's even worse than the first failure. And another little tip for you that I learned, and I wish I had understood this before because it would have saved me a lot of anxiety, is that you usually do worse before you do better. You usually start doing okay, then you take a big dip where you feel bad about not executing, but then you get back up on it again. But you don't know this because you're not used to this and your brain is not used to thinking like this. So now you have the seed of doubt planted on your mind where even if you walk 10K steps every single day for the rest of the month, you still technically can't accomplish the goal of walking 10K steps every single day for 1 month. You also didn't execute as much as you wanted to the second time. It was more difficult and your subconscious mind has just been waiting for the perfect excuse, for the perfect opportunity, the perfect piece of evidence to say, see, I told you so. You didn't believe me the first time, but here's evidence confirming that I was actually right. And it's great that we listen to our subconscious mind because so often it can give us so many good insights. You know, like there's a gut feeling, our survival instinct. And because we are so trusting of our subconscious mind, we take it as an actual sign and we believe it when it says, this is doing you more harm than good. You should stop, you should give up. The seed has now sprouted. You lose hope, you shut down. Okay, so if any small failure means that there's this seed of doubt that gets planted in our mind that we can't escape and it's gonna consume us no matter what is there to do so that we can actually feel confident and keep going and feel motivated with our habits? We need to make sure that we eliminate the possibility of failure. And this is how you do it. By reframing our mindset from this to this, we have now made our goal commitment and effort. With your previous goal, you automatically failed if you didn't deliver on day 1. With your new goal, you could underperform every single day of the month. And if you still get up on day 30 and you still make an effort to do as many steps as you can, you haven't failed at your goal. Meaning every single day is a fresh start. It's a new opportunity to do better, to do your best that you possibly can on that day. With your old goal, every new day is an opportunity to fail. You're living in fear that today might be the day that I break the streak. And it's not motivating. It feels scary. It's not fun. You feel like the world is against you. You don't feel like there's any sort of encouragement. It's like you've automatically done something wrong already. That's just planted in your mind. Previously, you were focused on the actual action of the habit, like walking 10K steps. You were prepared for the physical effort it would take. You thought, I'm out of shape, but you know what? I'm gonna push myself to do it anyways. You thought it was the actions that were gonna be the difficult part. And then you put the blame on yourself when it was too overwhelming and you couldn't deliver. But what you didn't understand is that the battle is not the actions. The battle that you first do is with yourself. And so you can never put the blame on yourself because you are what you're trying to work through in the first place. The difficult part isn't walking. The difficult part is having the confidence to know that you can try. You're not afraid to fail. You're not held back by the previous iterations of yourself that think, oh, well, I always fail every single time I try to create a new habit. That's the difficult part. And what you've been doing is you've been putting yourself down because you're like, oh, I have these negative feelings. Like, I shouldn't be having these negative feelings. I should just do it. I should just grow up and do it. But that's actual difficult stuff to work through. Like, it's not making it easy for yourself. That is the most difficult part of starting a habit. So if you focus on that, and if you can battle through that, that is what you need to be proud of yourself for. It's not doing the steps, walking. And once you learn how to coach your brain and you understand that you need to treat it a little bit more gently because it's just confused. Its job is to take in data and stuff it knows and give you the best possible outcome. And it does a fantastic job of that most of the time. But unfortunately, sometimes you need to recognize that your brain is just like a little kid. It has its own flaws and you need to be very selective about what you tell it so that you can put your own information in it. You can control the parameters that you give it, and it can give you results that you like, that lift you up and motivate you instead of bring you down and make you feel discouraged. Once you practice and are able to learn how to talk to your brain and how to quiet that part of you that has been built up so many years, just feeling worse and worse, failure after failure, you feel so small, you feel like you can't accomplish anything. Once you learn to take time and you figure that out, it takes a while, but that is what you need to focus on. You need to forgive yourself for feeling that way. You need to make sure that you are not giving your brain an opportunity to throw insults at you. If you say, I'm gonna walk every single day this month, and you don't, your brain goes, you failed, you didn't walk every single day this month, you are a loser, you always mess up everything, you always quit everything, you just can't do it. If your goal is not strictly walking every single day, if your goal is just trying to show up, just practicing showing up for yourself, your brain has nothing to say. What's your brain gonna say? Like, oh, you only walked 3K steps today. Like, yeah, and that's fine. I didn't say that I needed to walk 10K steps today. Your brain's like, oh, I guess so. I guess you did a pretty good job. I guess that's a pretty big jump from when we first started and we didn't take any steps at all. Yeah, it is. And once you learn to be proud of yourself for that, you are finally going to be able to unlock the power of consistency. Focus more on the consistency than the habit itself. And before you know it, you will just be in the habit. You won't even think about it because you can't purposely try to put yourself in there. Once you focus on taking care of your mind in this way, you are going to wake up one day and realize that you have this habit. You didn't even realize it wasn't even work for you. And that is what everyone else is experiencing that you're envious of. It looks so effortless. It's because that's not the battle that they decided to pick. And I'll tell you something, once you do it once, you don't really have to do it again. There's always gonna be seeds of doubt that you have to kind of, give yourself the right words to say in order for you to feel comfortable starting a habit. But once you learn how habits work and how your mind reacts to the things that you say and what things you decide to input into your brain and how that affects your actions and the ease of doing habits, you are going to realize that you can just apply it to anything you want to do. You want to start this habit? Sure, I already know what it's like to start a habit. I can just get into it. I'm not going to feel guilty about it because I know it's about trying my absolute best and giving myself the space to fail and not shutting down when I fail one time. This is another thing I also really want to stress if you're starting a habit. Most people want to start a habit, again, because they're automatic, they're consistent, they're streamlined. It's not a lot of work, and it makes your life more organized. It makes your days more organized, more clear. You don't have to think about it. Everything's in its right place. When you start a habit, your life will be more chaotic. There's no way around it. And this is also what turns a lot of people off and turned me off so many times because you expect, okay, starting tomorrow, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna put in the work because it's gonna change my life. I want out of this chaos. I want out of this discomfort. I just want my life to be organized and good. And then you start your habit and you're like, oh, my life is actually 10 times more chaotic than it was before because now I'm introducing a new aspect into my daily life. And you just need to remember that it's normal and you need to expect it to happen so that you don't freak out when it happens. You take it as a sign, okay, I know this is what a habit looks like. I'm doing a good job because my life is chaotic, because I'm failing at it. That's how I know I'm going in the right direction. It's not a stop sign, it's a green go light. I feel like some people might say that if you give yourself such an easy goal, like you don't have to do 10K steps every single day, that it's not good for you and it won't push you enough, it won't motivate you enough, and you're being too easy on yourself. I think this depends on the person because I personally have a bit of a distrustful relationship with myself. And I think a lot of people do because when you keep telling yourself you're gonna do something, especially if you're an overachiever, they don't tell you this, but if you're conditioned to want to do a lot, want to do more, to have like really big dreams, you promise yourself a lot and then you feel bad when you don't follow through. You feel like you're betraying yourself. And so you have a very damaged relationship with yourself and with your trust. I think if this is you, it is very, very, very important to repair that first and go easy on yourself. And if you have been trying to bully yourself into a habit, this is probably why it hasn't been working, because I am a big proponent of like, you just got to do it, you just got to get up, you just got to do it, but it doesn't always work because you're not actually addressing what the problem is. And the problem is you need to heal this relationship with yourself. And you need to understand that your subconscious mind has its limits. It's not always as like aware as you are. And that you need to be very careful with how you speak to it if you want to see certain results and if you want to discourage other behavior. Like, think of it as a toddler, you have to pick your battles carefully so that you're able to train your brain to help you, to give you motivation, to give you good feelings instead of giving you bad feelings and making it 10 times harder on themselves. Because the secret that you didn't know that everyone else is dealing with is that they don't have their brains constantly telling them, you're bad and you can't do this and you fail, because they know how to nurture their brains and they took that step first. And again, once you do this, you are not going to have to do it a million times every single time you start your habit. Once you learn how to properly train your brain and to understand that failure is okay. I know a lot of people say like failure is okay, failure is part of the process, like you should want to fail a lot. That's the only thing that brings success. But it's different hearing that and actually being okay with it in your mind, actually rationalizing it. I had this problem for a really, really long time because I knew that I was supposed to welcome failure, but I didn't understand what that actually looked like. And only by forgiving myself and kind of taking it a little bit easier and doing baby steps like that was I able to fully understand what that means. And that was the key to unlocking being able to do a habit and stay consistent and stay committed with it, because you're detaching from all those negative feelings around it. It's not really a big deal. If you do it one day, great. If you don't do it, it's fine. You're just gonna do it the next day anyways. So you're not freaking out over it all the time. And it becomes natural, which is the whole point. It's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be effortless. If you have watched this far or clicked on this video at all, sincerely, thank you so, so much. I decided to make this my first video because I thought through all of the things I wanted to say, and this came out as the number one thing that changed my life, the number one most important thing that I felt like I had to offer. And so I really, really hope that it can do the same for you. If anyone has any questions about anything, you can comment all you want. I'll respond to all of them because there's probably not gonna be that many comments. So if you want any kind of video, if you have any questions about anything, I'll do it for you, whatever you want. If you found this helpful at all, I would love a like, and I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff like this from lessons that I've learned that I think will help you because they helped me. So if you're interested in that, subscribe. I'm gonna have another video for you next week. Maybe share it with someone that you think might benefit from it. But overall, thank you so, so much. I will see you next week and have a wonderful day.